Welcome to Bluegrass Brooklyn, our podcast all about the music we love, straight from the Bluegrass borough of Brooklyn, New York.
Can we find a common thread? Hey, old sycamore tree. We share all our history. Don't leave this mess to me. Leave this mess to me.
Hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 11. My name is Liz Wolfe.
And I'm Mike Wilner.
And we are very excited. We've almost reached the end of our Season 4. And we have a wonderful interview with Celia Woodsmith from Della. And with her, I complete the set of my Della collection.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, this is number 4. They are amazing. And of course, they are coming to Jalopy Theater on January 28th. I cannot wait for that show.
Yeah, we've got also a quick peek at the Grammys, and we have some friends of the show who are nominated, and we've got a few fun facts for you. So that should be fun too.
So what do you got going on, Mike?
What do I got going on? Well, coming up on January 16th through January 18th is Jamuary at the Ashokan Center. This is going to be a fun event. It's a Wernick camp, so we're going to get to benefit from the Wernick coaches such as Liz Wolfe, who are going to be up there.
I will be there, and Mike will be there. And of course, this camp is run by Austin Scalzo, another friend of the show.
That's right.
And it's at the beautiful Ashokan Center. It's winter, so all you want to do is sit in warm rooms and jam and play with other people. It's really a fun weekend.
It's the best combination because we get to do some structured classes, and every time I go through those classes, I learn something new. And then get to stay up all night and jam and get yelled at by Liz when it's 3 a.m. and I have to punk out.
You want to go to bed.
Yeah. So how about you, Liz?
Bruce Molsky is playing this coming Sunday at the Westchester Bluegrass Club at 3 o'clock on Sunday at 3 o'clock on January the 18th.
Right. And for hyper-local news, Delia's Lounge Bluegrass by the Bridge Jam has been renewed for 2026. So Delia's Lounge is on 93rd Street and 3rd Avenue in Bay Ridge, the deep south of Brooklyn. We're there from 6 to 9 p.m. It's such a relaxed and welcoming environment. We hope to see some of our local musicians. And if you're in town, drop by. Also, we want to give a shout out to Lucinda's Music Bar, which is on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. That's 169 Avenue A, right near 10th Street and Avenue A. Tuesday nights, it's a rockin' scene from 8 to, they say, 11, but it really just keeps going. The musicians are great. We have a great time. The crowd is very appreciative. Most of the time, they're all dancing to the music, which is a lot of fun. So come on by, check out Lucinda's if you want to see a really rollicking New York City jam.
I've had a lot of fun playing there.
Please don't forget to follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn. Brooklyn is spelled BKLYN on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And you can visit us at bluegrassbrooklyn.com. And if you're looking for jams in Uptown Manhattan, Riverdale, the Bronx, and even New Jersey, and soon the entire world, please check out bluegrassjamsnearme.com. So, Liz, anything else?
No, let's get to the interview.
All right, let's roll. Well,
hello and welcome to Celia Woodsmith. How are you today?
Hello. I'm so great. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start with a quick story. My story. Gray Fox, 2012. What was the first year you were at Gray Fox? Do you remember?
Well, that depends on the first year that I volunteered there or the first year that I performed there. So
Let's go with performed, but I want to talk about the volunteering as well.
Okay, I believe the first year that I performed there was 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2012 was my first Gray Fox.
Nice.
And I had a daughter who was 7, maybe something like that, and her friend. And honestly, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about Della. I knew nothing about anything. It was my first year at Gray Fox. And first of all, everybody said, oh yeah, I got to go see Della. Got to go see Della. That was the first thing. I was like, okay, what's that all about? And I looked through the program. And in that program, I think the 4 of you at that time were one of about 6 women who were in the whole program. I just looked and looked and looked everywhere for that. And went to see you. We were just all blown away by it. And it was just the energy. It was just one of the best shows that we saw. And I've not missed a single Della Mae show since at Gray Fox. My daughter is now 21. So that is an annual thing that we make sure that we do. And it has been annual for you as well.
Yeah, Gray Fox has been a really important festival to us. I think they were the very first ones to take a chance on Della Mae. Even, I think Della Mae played Gray Fox before I was even in the band. I started in 2010 with Kimber Ludiker, the fiddle player. She decided, hey, there aren't enough women on stages, and there aren't enough women ripping solos and being bluegrass heroes. And so she thought to herself, well, I'm going to just go ahead and start that. So she was assembling Della Mae. And I remember being in the crowd in Boston, in the community of people, and being like, oh, this is cool. This is a really neat new band. And then it was pretty quick after that that Della Mae and I joined forces. And it was, Kimber took me out to coffee. I knew what she was going to ask me. I had seen Della Mae play, and I was sort of wrapping up what I thought was my music career at that point. I was going to move on to something completely different. And she swooped in at the last minute and asked me to play in Della Mae. And I said, well, I'll do it for a little while. And she said, well, we have Gray Fox. And I had been volunteering at Gray Fox for a couple of years, and that was really the carrot that she used to get me in the band. You know, she said, we're going to play Gray Fox. And I said, all right, I'll play in the band as long as I get to play Gray Fox. And that was it. You know, I mean, Gray Fox has always been this incredibly welcoming space for us. It always felt like the people there believed in us. They showed up for us. They bought the albums. They treated us so incredibly respectfully. So I have nothing but good things to say about Gray Fox.
And then you had already been, I know the story, but our listeners probably don't. You had been volunteering on the trash crew. That was the thing. And how long have you been doing that for before you did get onto that stage?
So I graduated from the University of Vermont in 2007. And that year I moved into this Saab hatchback car with my musical partner at the time, Avi Salaway. And he said, I've heard of this festival. It was actually in a different location. We went to the very last festival on the hill.
Winter Hawk.
That's right. So we went to the very last Winter Hawk. And I didn't realize at the time how much that would mean to me later, that we went to the very last one on the hill. But we went to this festival, and I was volunteering trash crew. And we were total vagabonds at that time, so we even stayed after the festival had wrapped up. I remember they paid people $50 a day to hang out and help clean up and get a lot of ground scores. I got like a new tent, I got some chairs. Yeah. You found beers that had probably been sitting in the sun for weeks. I did trash crew for 2 years. I did the hospitality tent for 1 year, and then I did the merch tent for 1 year.
Yeah. So it's a pretty big step to going from that kind of a volunteer / $50 a day to getting on stage. And I remember, I mean, you were amazing. Not just you, the whole group. I was just seeing what was possible up there and the energy. You did this cool thing with your hands. You know what I'm talking about?
Did I do this?
Yes.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. How did you even learn that?
You know, a lot of people have asked me that over the years. Like, how did you even learn that you could do that? Honestly, I think it's because I was an only child, and I just have always made weird sounds with my cheeks, my mouth, my hands. So it's like I had nothing else to do. I grew up in rural Vermont as an only child and just needed something to pass the time, I guess, but I don't even know how I learned to do this. I guess it's a type of ham boning for people who are not looking at a camera right now and seeing me flail my hands around. It's like very fast clapping. It's kind of fun.
It's really cool. And of course that and the washboard.
The washboard, yes, the infamous washboard. I had played the washboard in my rock and roll group in Boston for years, and I was sort of doing it in a more of a thrashing way. It was more theatrical than it was actually playing the washboard. But but I actually got the idea from this band called Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. There's a woman in that band who plays washboard, and she's got these gloves on, and she plays like a fiend. She's just got this energy and this incredible rhythm, incredible groove. And I remember seeing her play the washboard with these gloves, and I was like, that's the way, I've got to do it. So I made up this method of, you have to use a leather glove. I use thimbles, and I push the thimbles through the cut-off tips of the leather glove, and I Gorilla Glue them and electrical tape them down. And it normally lasts me a couple of years, one set of gloves. I just made my newest set of gloves, which I'm excited about, my album release 2026 set of washboard gloves. So, yeah.
Not something I sit around making, but I could totally see why you would do that.
It's a pretty weird thing to make, but I will say, for the people out there who are really into washboard, it's a really great way of playing it. And I have a whole method of making the washboard glove, so get in touch with me if you want to know.
That's right. Well, I see hanging behind you a banjo, a mandolin, and a guitar, and of course I know that I've seen you play the guitar. Mm-hmm. Are you also playing the banjo and the mandolin?
So that's my husband's wall of instruments right there. However, the banjo was actually a wedding gift from a bunch of friends in Boston to my husband and I 11 years ago now. And we both learned how to frail a little bit. He took off with it, and he plays a ton of old-time music now. He really went for it.
And is he also a professional traveling type touring musician? Or
he is not. He does it for fun, and I'm happy for him that he can just do it for fun. And we do travel together quite often, but normally not when I'm working. It's one of those things I feel like people ask often, oh, do you travel? Does he come on tour with you? I'm like, he doesn't want to do that, and I don't want him there either. It's like we would rather go on vacation together than, yeah.
Let's see, you sit around in a bunch of hotels, driving really long trips from city to city, have all of 24 hours there, and then move on.
And I'm distracted, I'm anxious, I'm working. That doesn't sound very good to either of us. Right,
that's for sure. And plus, you have chickens.
I do, yeah.
You can't leave the chickens too long on their own, I guess. Tell us about the chickens.
Yeah, you know what? Chickens have been a part of my life for a long time. I grew up with them, and we have them now at our house up in Maine. We have 9 chickens. But yeah, I mean, they have just become a part of how we exist up here in Maine. My husband and I are really environmentally minded. We really want to do as much as we can to be gentle on our environment, and having chickens who eat our kitchen scraps and give us eggs from the kitchen scraps, and most importantly, eat the ticks in the lawn. So that's an important part of how we view our space up here, is to a little bit of light animal husbandry. I really love having them, and I get a lot of pleasure from watching them in the yard interact in the way that they do, and it's a way to slow down, I think, just sitting in the yard watching chickens. It might sound like the worst thing in the world to some people, but it truly is a joy.
So you're in Maine. Kimber and Avril are in Maryland.
Yep, they're in Silver Spring, Maryland, yep.
And Vicky is in Nashville.
Yeah, Vicky lives in, Nashville.
So getting together for an afternoon for practicing rehearsals.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Not happening.
No, a lot of people ask us this question, and it's interesting. We're all professional musicians. We've been doing this for the last 20 years. So I guess it does make it easier for us that we all can practice on our own and bring things to the band and come ready. If we want to learn a song, it's like, well, learn the song in this key, and when we get together, we'll practice it. We do a lot of rehearsal at sound check. We do a lot of retreats. We often go to Avril and Kimber's house and impose ourselves upon them for the week and make dinner together and work up new songs. That's what we did with this last album, the album that we're releasing in January. We went to Silver Spring and we spent the week putting songs together. So that does work out really well. It does mean we have to put more time in terms of our own personal practice and putting time in specifically on the road. Either you come in a day early, you stay a day late. So it makes it harder, but again, the trade-off for all of us is that we can live near family, that we can live where we're most comfortable. So that's what it is for all of us, all across the country.
Yeah. So let's talk for a moment about the new album, which you just mentioned, which is coming out January 23rd, 2026, because these episodes live on forever. So this single you have out, which is Magic Accident, which is also the name of the album.
Yep.
Awesome song. I keep playing it over and over again, especially so that I can sing as loud as I can at the concert at Jalopy on January 28th and harmonize with you. So, but that was written by you, that song.
Yep.
Which I feel it has your personality all over it.
Yeah.
Is it accurate to say that you take on a lot of the responsibility for songwriting for Della Mae?
I think in the past I had a lot of the albums that we have. This is our 7th studio album. In the past, I would say I've had more solo songs on our albums, but in the past we hadn't given a more concerted effort to co-writing, and we really did. We gave a concerted effort to co-writing on this album, and I am so pleased with how it turned out. I think it's one of those things that all of us combined are better. And there is a part of my songwriting ego that I guess has liked that I've written the songs on and on and on, but it's been a really good thing for my ego to realize that it's better together. Della Mae has always been better together. The sum of all of our parts is truly a wonderful thing, better than all of us could ever be individually. So I think that goes the same with the songwriting. I'm just so happy with the collaborations we've had, both writing things together within the band, but also writing songs with musicians who are not in the band, songwriters in Nashville and Boston. So, yeah, I will say I think this is the most collaborative album songwriting-wise that we've ever had, and I would say it's one of the best albums we have. It's just, it feels really like Della Mae. It's just Della Mae. I don't know. It is unmistakably us.
Absolutely. And with Vicky's joining of the band, one of the joys of listening to this most recent song, but also just seeing some of the reels that are coming through and everything, is the harmonies that you are doing together, because of course your voice is just so spectacular, and
thank you.
She and Avril, like everyone, I don't know that anyone has not a good voice on there. It's really, we're talking the difference between 9.99 and 9.999, it's silly.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a really beautiful thing that I'm hearing those harmonies. And something that I really appreciate about Della Mae, of course, you being that lead singer and singing, and me being a singer, is what I appreciate about Della Mae is there's so much emphasis on the vocal rather than just the instrumental. Not that there's anything lacking instrumentally in any way, but that's something that I really enjoy listening to. And
I think it's another strength that we have. Everyone in the band, as you said, can sing, and everyone in the band is good at really specific stuff. Vicky is an incredible high, like a tenor harmony in Bluegrass speak. She sings the tenor part. And what is so lovely about her harmony, and I'm not sure lovely is the best term,
right.
I don't know, if Vicky's listening, I'm sorry. I can't describe her singing as lovely. It's powerful, it's gritty, it's beautiful, it's emotive. Lovely might be reserved for someone else. I can't be described as lovely either necessarily, but she can match my power, and I think that's one of the best things that we've been able to uncover in the last couple of years of singing together, is that our voices together at the belting sort of power that we can do together, it just becomes this incredible emotive force. I love singing with her. But then Avril and Kimber have this incredible blending baritone harmony that they put, in the 3-part harmony, and they just are able to glue us together. It wouldn't sound good if either Avril or Kimber was this really big belting big voice singer. It just wouldn't sound as good. And they're these beautiful blending singers, almost no vibrato, a very soft, beautiful baritone. And when you add that to Vicki and I, it enhances what we're able to do. So the singing thing has been a true revelation for us in the past 6 years since joining up with Vicki. She adds a whole wonderful energy to the band, and it's a joy singing with her. I feel like I could sing anything with her,
Yeah.
So it's really awesome.
So when did you start singing in your solo child world?
Well, I like to say it was later. I think I didn't really start until my teens, but I think my parents would disagree. My dad called me Squawk Box for a nickname when I was young. I think it's just I was always making noise. It's like that clapping thing that I'm talking about. I was always walking around doing funny accents, doing noises, copying things. As much imitation as you can do, I think that makes you a better singer. So my whole young life was spent imitating. I would imitate the Queen of the Night aria. I would imitate Mahalia Jackson singing. I would imitate all sorts of singers, and I think that really made me who I am. But I didn't start really singing until I got a guitar. I think I was 14. I got a guitar. But I remember I stopped playing guitar, and I do want to tell the story as kind of weird and maybe sort of icky as it is, but I stopped playing guitar because a guitar teacher, this guy that I had been going to, he made me feel really, really uncomfortable one day. He just said something to me that was uncomfortable, and he touched my knee in like a very kind of overly friendly way. And I unfortunately think that because music, there are so many good men. I just want to preface what I'm about to say by saying this. There are so many good men out there. There are so many men who would never do anything icky to a young woman or make her feel uncomfortable. But because there are so many men in music, you're going to get ones that do inappropriate stuff all the time. And I think I got one of them. And unfortunately, I never went back to him. I never wanted to feel that way again. I mean, you're sitting in these practice rooms and you're so close to one another. So I stopped taking lessons. I stopped playing guitar. And then I picked it up again maybe about 3 years later when I was closing in on 18. I was about to go to college, so it felt like a good time to reinvent myself. And that's when I just started working around with what I knew. I knew 3 chords. I knew G, C, D. I was not comfortable with bar chords yet, but I had a capo, so that really helped me out. And I learned Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin, and I went to college, and I was playing that song on the quad when I met the guy that I would play music with for the next 7 years. So that's how it happened for me. I started singing fairly young, but didn't really know what I was doing, and I continued. I didn't have any formal training. I didn't take any lessons until much later in my life after I hurt myself, and I had to do a little bit of rehabilitation with my voice. And so I decided then I would take a lot of lessons to determine how to sing in the best way that I could. So yeah, it's been quite a journey with singing and playing guitar. I guess the reason I tell that guitar story is that I really want more young women to play guitar. I really want more young women to pick up any instrument whatsoever. I want more young women to write songs and to sing and feel confident and not feel like there are icky, gross things happening to them when they try to do these things. And now that there are more women, professional women out there performing and playing music, there are more women teaching, and there are more options for young women out there to take Zoom lessons or to get lessons from your local awesome guitar playing woman. So I'm not advocating to not use all these wonderful men resources, but I do think it's important that young women know that there are a lot of options now.
Well, and let's extend that even further, because you and I briefly spoke about this before we got on, which is that I'm constantly encouraging people to sing, and I'm constantly hearing stories about people who say that there was someone in some authority form, whether it was a music teacher or a parent or a choir director or a church person or their brother, you know. Anyway, again, there are many, many wonderful people in the world. So we're not, and music teachers, etc.
Absolutely.
And there is this way in which I think music feels so vulnerable that you're singing, you're getting out there, and something as, I won't say small, something as precise as a moment of discomfort can take you off course. But there's a lot of moments of discomfort.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, the amount of people who come to me who basically say, well, so-and-so told me I should never sing this song, or that I can't sing that song, or I don't sound good playing this way, or whatever. Yes, I do think that there are instances in jams when someone maybe is playing too loud. Everyone knows that person who's just thrashing away on the guitar and not listening and not leaving space, that you can mention to someone, hey, if you play a little bit quieter, I think we'll all be able to hear something. We'll all be able to hear the jam a little bit better. We'll all be able to contribute a little bit better. I had to learn like that. I had to learn in the bluegrass way, where you sit around in a circle and you make a fool of yourself time and time and time again. I just feel so fortunate that I am personally surrounded by people who treat me as their equal and who give me opportunities just the same way as I give them opportunities. I really hate that we have this culture, and I'm not sure if it's uniquely American or not, but in Ireland, people will stand up in a pub and start singing whether or not they have the most amazing voice. And everyone sings along with them, and it's this big cultural thing. I've often told people that I never have watched American Idol or The Voice or things like that. And that's okay if you like those shows, but unfortunately, I think we made a public viewing out of mocking people for their bad voices. And that really sucks. I really hate that became a cultural phenomenon that we would watch again and again as this person fails and hits the wrong note. So we didn't want to be that person, so we're never going to sing. We're never going to try. And therefore, you're never going to get better. You're never going to know the joy it is to sing in a group of people. And it doesn't matter if you have the best voice. This is about community. It's about expression. It's about storytelling. I really, really dislike the mockery we made of these poor people who are just trying their best.
That's exactly. What I find most important is that there's no qualification to be that good. There's no, I mean, you're at a jam, you're playing a song. So we're not trying to stand up in front of crowds of people here. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves together.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of too much focus is put on instrumentalism at jams, and not enough, because you said it, it's really about practicing. It's about getting better because you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta, if you want to get better at singing, you gotta sing. You know, like, you gotta know what your instrument can do. It's not just an instrument that you buy from the store. It looks a certain way. It's made out of this kind of wood. It's got light strings. It's got ebony or ivory end pins. It's got all this stuff. Our instrument is in our body, and we can't buy a nicer one. But you can know what it's like to be in this body. I think a lot of people don't even know what it's like to live in their own body, or what they're experiencing in terms of feelings in their body. So we all have this unique and wonderful thing. We just need to know how to use our body and to experiment with the sound that's coming out. If you don't like the sound that first comes out of your mouth, well, change some things. Figure out how to open up your throat in a different way. Figure out how to breathe differently. Figure out how to stand differently. It's just it's a wonderful instrument that we've all been given, and we don't use it enough.
And my number one tip is to stand up. You're automatically going to sound better if you
Absolutely.
stand up.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of comparison that goes on with people, where they say, oh, but I'm not singing like that. And so then you're shortchanging what you do sound like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first joined Della, I was really concerned that basically people, I didn't sound like Aoife O'Donovan. I didn't sound like Alison Krauss. I mean, I don't sound like all of the women who are getting IBMA Vocalist of the Year. I don't sound like them. And that's okay. Like, I'm not upset about that at this point in my life. Earlier in my life, I think I was a little bit like, why am I getting left out? Like, what am I doing wrong? But it turns out that I sing the way I sing, and that's why people like it. People who like Della Mae like how I sing. At one point, I think I did sing a lot like how other people sing. There's a lot of really incredible singers who I love, and I think it started happening to me less and less where someone says, oh, you sound exactly like Bonnie Raitt or Susan Tedeschi. And I take that as a real leap of growth for me, because now I just sound like a conglomeration of all of these things that I've learned, which is what I sound like. I feel like I sound more myself now than I ever have. We all expect to be an expert the moment we try anything, and if we're not, we're never going to do it again. And that's just not how this works, So I think singing is more than just this thing that we listen to on the radio or listen to on whatever you're listening to it on. Singing is a cultural thing too, which is why I think it should matter less and less how you sound. It should matter that we're spending time together. Maybe it's at church, maybe it's in your house at a jam. I just went Christmas caroling with a bunch of friends. We stood in front of people's houses and sang songs to them. Did we sound great? No, we sounded okay. But that's not the point. Yeah. This is a calling in for a spiritual, cultural experience. So it's not just playing an instrument. Your voice is a physical manifestation of something more. It doesn't matter if you're hitting everything on the correct pitch. You'll learn. The more you do it, the better you'll get. So I could talk about singing forever. It's just, it's such a wonderful way to feel something spiritual.
Especially in community with others.
Yes.
And it's something that I miss a lot at jams. Again, a lot of times I'm like, oh, hey, I'm singing by myself over here. Can we have some harmonies and people stepping in? And I love it. I love it when we, at the end of the I'll Fly Away, we do one a cappella verse or one a cappella chorus. And there you are, and it's just beautiful. The only reason you would say we sounded fine is because we're, again, doing this qualification of how does it sound, but that's only part of it. There's such a big part of singing, which is really about that community. And that's culturally is what's missing. Yeah.
I mean, God, I wish so much that everyone was required to just go sing with one another. I'm not personally a church-going person, but whenever I do, I sing in my local church a couple times a year, and I am always moved to tears in those situations. Really sitting with one another, singing and being still for a moment and just letting your vibration be at the same level of everyone else's vibration is really moving.
So the next up for you is your album's coming out January 23rd. You're coming to New York City. Mm-hmm. You're going to be at Jalopy Theater on January 28th. And then moving on from there and promoting your album and going to be touring, etc.
Yeah, our first show is going to be in New York City at the Jalopy Theater. We haven't played in New York for a long time, but we haven't forgotten about you. It's a pain to get into New York. But we have so many incredible fans who live in New York City. A lot of them are Gray Fox people. And the community in New York, especially I think in Brooklyn, the sort of bluegrass community, the music community is really amazingly great. So really looking forward to coming back. So then we're going to be heading down the coast, going to the Hamilton Theater in Washington, D.C. We're going to be going to Denver and Fort Collins, Colorado. I mean, we've got tons of festivals. We're going to be on Kayamo, which is a music cruise out of Miami. Wow. So we're going to be all over the place. We're going to be bringing Magic Accident with us. We're going to be bringing all of these songs that we've collaborated on. It's been a while since our last real release, and I think we're all really ready for it. We're all really excited. We're ready, man. Like, it's been long enough between albums where we've been able to get some really good stuff We've got our stuff figured out. We got the harmonies tight. The instruments sound really good. Kimber's playing mandolin and fiddle. We've got Allison Brown on banjo. I mean, it feels pretty locked in to me. So I'm ready to release it.
So far, of everything I've heard, it sounds absolutely amazing. So I now have completed the Della set. I had Kimber on. I had Vicky. Well, I started with Vicky. I had Kimber, then I had Avril, and now you. So I have collected the set. Each conversation has been amazing. It's quite a collaboration of some amazing women in Bluegrass, and so happy to have you on. I really appreciate that. If anybody's listening in Brooklyn before the 28th, please head out to Jalopy to see this show and, of course, pick up the album. And we're going to have some more singing fun then.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun show and a really fun year. So thanks so much for the conversation. It's been really fun.
So Liz, you know the Grammys are coming up soon, right?
The Grammys, big moment in music.
Yeah, it is a big moment. And what's really exciting for us is two guests of the show, Tammy Rogers-King of the Steel Drivers and Jason Carter and Michael Cleveland, who put out Carter in Cleveland. Both are nominated for Best Album. Those are some of my favorite interviews.
And what's so interesting is that in Tammy's interview, she discusses how becoming Grammy nominated and then, of course, Grammy winning really did change things for them as the Steel Drivers and change their band. And I thought that was a really interesting part of the interview. If you haven't listened to that interview, we recommend you go back and listen to that. And it really opens a lot of doors for an artist when they get nominated and, of course, when they win.
Of course. Jason and Michael really put out an incredible album. The two of them have some sort of Vulcan mind meld as far as double fiddles is concerned. Why don't we have a listen to some of Kern County Breakdown from that album? Wow, my ears are smoking from listening to that high-speed double fiddling.
I mean, they're just incredible. I keep going back to when I got to see them at IBMA. They're just powerhouses. And, of course, another amazing fiddler being Tammy Rogers-King. Yeah. She's also an award-winning fiddler. So let's listen to Outrun, which is the title song from their Grammy-nominated album.
Stop turning for the reckless in a hurry. In the fever of a temper, Lord, he brought the whole thing down. But he could not forgive her, boys, that's when he found out that you can't outrun the Mississippi River in a Shelby GT4. You can't outrun the angels, you can't outrun the Lord. Well, you can't outrun a broken heart that gives in to a God, and you can't outrun the Grim Reaper once the deed is done.
Again, smoking. I don't have a preference about who wins, but it will be really cool if one of them does.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to celebrating that. while we were looking into our Grammy-nominated guests, we came across some fun facts. Which one stuck out for you, Liz?
Well, I thought it was interesting. No big surprise that Bill Monroe won the first album of the year for Bluegrass. But what was fascinating is that didn't happen until 1989, which is fully 30 years after he started recording. So they didn't add Bluegrass as a category to the Grammys until 1989, which, for some people may feel like a long time ago, but for me, it doesn't feel like that long ago.
Well, it took him a while to catch up. I know that when I was researching this, a fun fact that jumped out at me was Alison Krauss is a Grammy winner. She's won 27 Grammys. That's a lot of Grammys. She must have a very crowded mental.
Yeah, that is a lot of Grammys. And Ricky Skaggs comes in at 15, so she's really, really leading the pack with that.
Yes.
And of course, she is just a phenomenal musician. So if anybody out there listening knows Alison Krauss, can you connect us with her so we can have her on the show?
Yes, please. If anybody takes the trouble to review the list of Grammy-nominated and Grammy-winning bluegrass musicians, there's a lot, and they really do recognize some of our favorite musicians and our favorite bands. So we're looking forward to the Grammys. We're looking forward to celebrating with Tammy or Michael and Jason, and it should be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining us on this bluegrass-related Grammy nomination review. And what a fun interview. I loved listening to Celia. She had some really interesting, very personal things to say. So I'm really gratified that she was willing to trust and engage and open up like that. I love the part about the washboards, though, because it's getting down into the weeds with the thimbles and the gloves and everything. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, now I have it's like a do-it-yourself washboard glove tutorial.
That's right.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. And of course, if we come to Jalopy, she'll be bringing that and playing that. It's so much energy. And again, every single one of the interviews with the Della women have been so personal, open, and of course, just to hear of their journey has been very inspiring.
And best of luck to Tammy Rogers-King and to Jason Carter and Michael Cleveland. One of them has got to win the best album. We're rooting for them both, though.
Yes. Give them some more listens on the media platforms, as well as be prepared when you watch the Grammys.
And Sonic Planet listeners will be following this episode with selected music from both the Steel Drivers Outrun album and Michael and Jason's Carter and Cleveland album. Anything else, Liz?
No, that's it. So just remember to follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn. Of course, you can always find us online at bluegrassbrooklyn.com, BKLYN. And the more likes, follows, subscribes that we have, the more we can spread the love of bluegrass everywhere.
Okay, then we'll see you next time.
See you around the jam circle.
The footsteps of a woman I don't know. And though we've been moving slow, we've gotten somewhere. Walking in the footsteps of a woman I haven't met, but I've seen her on the internet crying. And